Hello everyone and welcome to Hack the Dino's Nostalgia. I am your host Brayden and I'm joined today by Paul.
Hi.
Hi Paul. Paul is from Infinite Worlds Tattoo. Would you like to talk about Infinite World for a little sec?
We're actually in it right now.
Yes.
This is my office. Behind me.
All of the fold-out gear.
Infinite Worlds Tattoo, we're basically Adelaide's geeky tattoo studio for geeks, by geeks. We're in Prospect, Main North Road. And it's basically we just focus on pop culture stuff. Gaming, comics, movies, TV, anime, everything.
Everything. Absolutely everything. So I got Paul to join me for today's episode because we're going to be talking about Fallout as a series. Fallout 76 is about to come out and Paul is the biggest Fallout fan that I've ever met.
Yeah!
So I figured why not get him because he knows everything about it. So, starting off, these early Fallout games before, you know, the Fallout 3 and all of that.
Sure.
I wasn't around. I was like playing with like tiny little toys going I know I'm super young. So what were these early games like? Because you've gone back and played them as well, haven't you?
So early Fallout, you got Fallout 1, essentially Fallout.
Yeah.
And Fallout 2 are kind of top down, a bit more like Baldur's Gate, especially 2. Basically, these were kind of originally meant to run on a GURPS system, which is a role-playing kind of system. So they feel very tabletop gaming.
Okay.
So it's very much like almost everyone you can talk to.
Yeah.
Conversational options are a lot more developed than they are in the later games, which is interesting.
Okay.
Basically, it's like you're playing a tabletop role-playing game. Like
I was gonna say, you've like sold me on it now.
It's like you've got a dungeon master there, and he's kind of like running you through stuff. It's all very, it's on a hex grid basically.
Okay, yeah.
Not that you see the grid, but it's all there. It's very sort of forced, three-dimensional, but two-dimensional in fact.
Yeah.
But you know, the story is probably the biggest sell. Like for any Fallout game, it's the story, but the visuals and the world, and it has such a deep lore.
It's 100% you're jumping into that world and exploring everything about it.
Yes, and that's why I think it's probably one of the better franchises because you can do anything in that world.
Yeah.
You want cowboys? Well, forget Red Dead Redemption because you can be a cowboy basically, but in a post-apocalyptic world.
You're just a post-apocalyptic, slightly nuclear cowboy.
Yeah, exactly. That's the best kind of cowboy. so you can do anything really, which I think was really fun. The other thing is that Fallout 1 is semi-serious.
Yeah.
It's a little darker and it hasn't quite met the same tone that it's familiar with now. But
they grew into it.
Yeah, Fallout 2, you start getting weird pop culture references. You start getting almost self-referential pop culture references.
Okay.
I'm pretty certain in 2, there's a point where you walk in and there's like a fire and Jabba the Hutt is there, and the guy's like, "Oh god, not another pop culture reference." So it's a weird game, and then. It just they feel different from the new ones, but not in a one is bad, one is good way. Just different.
In like you can see their development of their ideas growing and growing and finding what they were more comfortable with in the end.
Graphics wise, these games typically are not at the height of graphics. Yeah. And they never have been, but that's because it kind of means that they focus more on story.
Yeah. I was going to say, I always thought that when my initial introduction to Fallout was going to Blockbuster when they were still around and renting Fallout 3.
Yep.
And I remember playing it and going, there are like better looking games at the time, but that's not the focus.
No. And I think that I would have to think that the process of making these games is so in depth that the graphics have to kind of be like, we just have to do what we can.
Draw a line here because the story, we're aiming for the moon.
Yeah, pretty much. Especially with all the, like 1 and 2, especially with all those kind of dialogue options and story options. Like you can really take that story anywhere. Significantly more than you can with the newer games.
Yeah. Which for me sounds crazy because I feel like you can do a lot in those games.
Yeah, you can. You can do a lot.
Yeah. So I'm imagining like now these early ones must have been nuts.
Yeah. They really were ahead of time in terms of story.
Yeah. So God, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So yes, and then sort of moving on to that Fallout 3 where there's this jump.
Well,
suddenly.
Well, it's not so sudden
because
there's a lot of stuff that comes out and is cancelled between 2 and 3.
Okay.
So between 2 and 3 is like there's one cancelled game which was originally meant to be it's called Van Buren.
Okay.
And it was more like Baldur's Gate in
Yeah.
terms of graphic, and it was supposed to be very cool. Like, I've seen a lot of the stuff. None of this stuff is canon anymore.
Yeah.
But it's very cool stuff, and a lot of it is still slightly referenced. So, there was also another one that was made almost to completion. I think it might have been Van Buren actually, made to almost to completion. Ooh. That was cancelled. Because you had, obviously, Bethesda purchased the franchise from Interplay and Black Isle, I think.
That sounds good.
So there's this stuff. They made a PlayStation port that was called Brotherhood of Steel.
Yeah.
And that one was similar, but I don't think it's considered canon as well.
It's still a bit of an offshoot.
Yeah, it was more actiony, I think. So they're kind of giving people what they wanted.
That fits PS1 era.
Yeah. It was that kind of thing where it's like you can choose between 3 main characters, and then they don't necessarily level up with you or anything, but they're there. So lore-wise, it's kind of cool.
It's interesting, yeah.
There was also Fallout Online.
Okay.
That it was a big controversial thing where it was meant to be Interplay. This was kind of in the middle of the purchase of the Bethesda made.
So everything gets messed up in
Bethesda bought it, right?
Yeah.
And they were like, Interplay, you have this amount of time to make Fallout Online.
Yeah.
They didn't. And so Bethesda were like, okay, well now you don't have the license.
Yeah.
And a big hullabaloo.
So... Oh, what a mess.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that didn't happen.
Yeah.
I feel like after all the kind of crazy things that had been happening, Interplay might have lost its touch.
Yeah, it's like they could have lost it, and then we wouldn't have gotten what we got.
Yeah, exactly. So they cancelled it, and that's why there's such a big gap.
Yeah,
because there's like a string of cancelled games.
That explains so much.
Yeah, right? And then you get 3, which is awesome.
Which, as, like, jumping into that... playing around with it and just like at the time for the games that I was playing at the time it was so different from everything else because it was like you get to like go into your little stats and everything and focus on these things and like the character creation was ridiculous and the fact that it was all of that and it was like first person shooter fun and everything but it's so story based and the world is so crazy that you just wanted to explore everywhere.
Yeah, definitely.
Like it was so much fun.
It's cool to think that a game can focus on story and still get away with the bug festers kind of thing, right?
That's it.
Even this whole thing with 76's bugs in the beta, which is crazy, but they knew that bugs would happen. Yeah. They did say it.
These are what we expect.
Yeah, it's a beta. Yeah. And there'll be bugs afterwards, of course.
Of course.
Totally worth it, though. But it's cool to know that if you put all the effort into story and lore and visuals in terms of just crafting a world, that people can appreciate it. Yeah,
they're like, this takes a back seat in my focus because I'm so focused on this part.
Yeah, definitely.
And even in a case of like, I think like renting it as a kid and everything, like it'd be scratched up as well and everything, so it just ran terribly.
Yeah.
And it was just a case of like, I'd be in the middle of one thing and then it would just like some door wouldn't unlock or something. It's like, oh, okay, cool, and then you go back to your last save and try it again.
Yeah, I mean,
but it didn't faze me because I had so much fun. I was just like, I don't care. I just need to quickly do it again so that I can get through it.
There aren't that many games where you start the game as a baby.
That's true. Oh my god.
You kind of choose things, and Liam Neeson is talking to you. And
I forgot it was Liam Neeson. Oh my god.
There's actually quite a few voice actors. Yeah. I mean, Bethesda are really good. Like, I mean, in the Elder Scrolls games, you had, like, Patrick Stewart and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah,
so.
They're just pulling in all these crazy people going, hey, come on do this for us.
Pretty much. And yeah, I mean, so you got Liam Neeson guiding you at the start. You've got a couple of other cool names, voice actors in there.
Yeah.
But just the whole concept of the game starts at the start of your life.
Yeah.
And then you kind of see a few flashes forward.
I was going to say, that's right, you're birthed.
Yeah, you're
like, and then you're like wandering around as a little kid.
Yeah.
And
pick up the special book.
Yeah.
You know,
you get to choose things.
You have your birthday.
What do you want to be? Oh, man.
It's crazy.
Man,
Butch bullies you.
Yes.
And then he gets his. If you want him to.
Yes. Oh, it's ridiculous.
Oh, Butch took it. Like, I didn't say Butch at all.
Not once.
I'll confess this. My player character in Fallout and most games since Fallout 3 has been called Dr. Murder.
Oh my god.
And Fallout 3 had a karma system.
Yeah.
And I freaking redlined that karma system. I was the baddest.
Oh my god, that's perfect.
I went to Paradise Falls, which is the slaver colony, and I'd never been there before, but my karma was so low that I went in and they were like, oh, it's that guy. It's that guy I heard about. And I just walked straight in and I killed their leader and I took his pimp hat. That's how I played that game.
Fallout, ladies and gentlemen.
Fallout.
That is
Dr.
amazing.
Yep.
Oh my, like you went into a slave colony and they were like, oh man, he's rough.
Oh, I also found like a group of sort of traders with slavers.
Yeah.
Who had some slaves with them, and I killed the slavers, and then the slaves were like, you're going to free us. I'm like, yep, I certainly am. And they're like, take off our explosive collars. Well, I don't have the skills to do that, but I'll give it a go.
Sure, why
Whoops. Okay, bye.
See ya.
I'm a horrible person.
You're free now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're free.
I'm this mortal coil.
Terrible person. I also killed everyone in Megaton.
Nice.
Not with the bomb.
Just normally.
I just killed them all.
Just running around normally.
I'm a terrible person. It took me a while to work out that you couldn't kill the kids.
Yeah.
Which is fair enough.
So then it's just like all these...
It's just
awful all these kids.
I chased them around with a flamethrower for a while, but it wouldn't take.
It gets fun, and then it loses it after a bit.
Yeah.
Like,
After about half an hour, it just kind of go,
That is amazing.
I mean, it's such a good game.
Yeah, I was going to then jump onto... I absolutely loved it. Fallout New Vegas.
Yeah,
as well.
New Vegas is great. And it's a very big favourite for people.
Yeah.
Interesting that New Vegas, the crew that Obsidian came from Interplay.
Yeah, which is
fair enough.
Like, okay, you guys came back a little bit.
Obviously, they're good guys.
Saved it.
The guys that weren't responsible for all the crap stuff.
Yeah, they're like, hey, we just focused on these bits, so bring us back.
I mean, New Vegas is not a perfect game. It has its faults, much like any other game. It did introduce a few cool things.
Yeah.
It put a little bit more of the humour back in. Had the Wild Wasteland perk that you could take.
Yes.
Which was hilarious because at the time I was living with my buddy Alistair and we were like, I was playing it and he was playing it.
Yeah.
He didn't take the Wild Wasteland perk or Weird Wasteland. And so I'm like, oh my god, you have to see this. I found Indiana Jones's body in a fridge. And he went to look at it, and he's like, no, it's not here. Yeah. I thought I was going crazy.
What is going on?
Until I realised that he hadn't taken the perk.
Yeah, it's like, oh, okay. It makes so much more fun with that.
Oh, yeah, it's so cool. More UFOs, more just weird stuff. That's the cool thing about these games, is that you can really they kind of embellish a little bit of fun stuff.
They play around with going a bit silly with it.
Yes.
Yeah, and enough that you can make it sillier if you want.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Or you can make it as serious as you want. And I know a few people who play through it and they're like, oh, it was a bit serious. And it's like, you're taking it too serious.
Yeah, you played it serious.
Yeah. Number 4 gets announced.
Yes.
How was your reaction to that?
I was psyched.
As
I am for every Fallout announcement. And I was psyched about the Vault Dweller phone game.
The Fallout Shelter?
Yeah, Fallout Shelter.
Yeah, I played that for a bit.
I played it through to its original conclusion, and they added a bunch of extra stuff, but I finished it by then, and I was like,
I'm done with it. I didn't touch it.
I built a vault, I don't want death claws in it now.
It's like, but I just did so much effort to make it decent.
Pretty much.
But yeah, so Fallout 4, and it's that, hey, here's heaps on it, we're going to show you a bunch, it's out super soon.
Yes.
And everyone's just like...
Yeah.
What?
Took most people off guard.
Like, it was ridiculous. And I remember I went in to whatever shop I went into the next day and ordered that boy, the good old Pip boy.
Yeah.
And, like, And then the second that came out, I think I've just played it solidly for days.
It's crazy. The way I play Fallout is that I generally don't do any story until like I get bored of exploring.
Yeah.
And
just immediately go.
Let me think. It came out 2015.
Yeah.
And I finished the story this year.
Damn.
So I've just been exploring and screwing around. I mean, I have kids, so I don't get to play as much.
Not as much as you
but,
could.
yeah, realistically, I was just around.
Oh my god, that is amazing.
That's how I did 3 and New Vegas. I just go and have a look.
Making them these like marathon experiences.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's a marathon world where it's like, I mean, Fallout 4's map was ridiculous.
I mean, 4 is huge, and it's 76 is 4 times as big.
Which is going to be, like, I'm not going to see so much of that map for a long time.
I found with 4 that, well, with all of them, if you jump into the story too soon, then exploring doesn't seem as exciting.
Yeah.
You're kind of like, oh, I don't have anything to really do anymore.
Yeah, you've experienced a bunch of cool scripted stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
So then when you're out exploring, you're like, oh, this isn't as big.
So I left it as a nice big treat.
Yeah.
And,
so then all of a sudden you're doing like you've explored and seen a bunch of crazy stuff anyway. And then you get the scripted stuff. Yeah. And you're like, whoa!
So I did all that, and then I finished the main story, then I did all the DLC.
Nice.
And I finished everything just in time for 76 to be announced.
Oh, man. They were like, come on, Paul, come on, just hurry up and finish. Freaking finish it, goddammit, we need to release it.
That's what that camera does.
Yeah.
So 4 was great, it had awesome characters. 4, as far as the story goes, is a bit more simplistic because they have, the main character has a voice.
Yeah, which was...
So they had the script and voice act everything, so...
They had to limit things a bit more.
Yeah.
Because that was an odd turn after 3 and New Vegas. And
it's an odd turn for most games, especially like you're starting to get a bit more now. GTA 4 had voice. I think Nico had a voice.
Yeah.
Nico 4 or 5.
Nico had voices and everything, but like it was such a severe jump for them to be like, okay, yeah, we've got like you would scroll through all of your options in the early ones and see everything that you could choose. And then all of a sudden it's like, alright, we're going to give you a choice 4.
Which are kind of like, yes, no, maybe.
Yeah. And then like,
funny thing.
I was going to say, always the
sarcasm.
Funny thing. Always the funny thing. I would always choose the funny thing.
I tend to go with like a kind of hard-ass feel. Nice. Although I met with a weird thing with 4. In 3 and New Vegas, I was Dr. Murder. I was a hard-ass the whole time. And then 4, I was like, man, they've packed some emotion in the story.
Like, I feel bad.
I can't really be a horrible person anymore. I have a kid to look after. And then I met Nick Valentine, who's my favourite, and he's just like pure good guy. He's a detective.
And you're like,
yeah, he's my boy.
Yeah, so all of a sudden you had this quite literal change of heart, where it's just like,
I couldn't do it.
I need to be a good guy now for my boy.
Yeah, for Nick, he doesn't like it. If I ever came up with the thing like Nick Valentine didn't like that, I'd be like, oh no, what have I done? No,
I need to change this. I need
pretty much.
I need to earn his favour again.
He's the only person I travelled with apart from Dogmeat.
Yeah,
and I used Dogmeat to get to him.
It's like, oh damn it, I left him over there. I need to go.
Yeah,
Dogmeat, follow me to this cyborg robot man.
Yeah, pretty much. He's a synth. He's cool.
Yeah, synths as an idea, I was just like, oh, that's so cool.
And I mean, you had synths are introduced in 3 as well, because you meet a synth at Rivet City.
Whoa!
And you meet Corsa, who's trying to get him, and that's one of the quests that you can do. So it's like really early on, like
oh my god, yeah. I also borrowed from Blockbuster like 8 times and played from the start of the game 8 times. So, that's crazy.
Yeah. So they cool. really kind of put that forward, and there's you've got 76 out coming out next week, and it's got little notes and things were in 4, and even 3 about 76.
I was going to say because
there's a terminal entry in the Enclave base that is like. Vault 76 and blah 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 blah. Yeah, it's very simple stuff.
It's like, oh okay, they were playing around with all these ideas in the background, and giving them to people as well. Yeah,
there's plenty of stuff that they added in just as flavour.
Yeah,
and I'm sure that at some point they were like, oh, we need a new vault to do. Let's pick this one.
Yeah, it's like, oh, this one we made it sound slightly interesting as a base.
Exactly. So I mean, I think that's the best thing is the lore is so rich.
Yeah,
they can pick and choose what they want.
Can 100%. And this one's earlier than all this.
76 is 25 years after the bombs drop.
Yeah, so
whereas like
super early.
Yeah, whereas the other ones are like 100 years.
Yeah,
I think like 4 is like 200 years.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's a lot. Like you see the bomb drop and everything.
Yeah,
and then you're just frozen for a while,
and you don't really have any concept of how long you've been frozen.
Yeah,
which is cool.
I did like that in that story where it was like, oh man, like I could sort of see where it was coming from. It's like, oh, this is going to be like they're going to be an adult now, and oh, this will be great. And then when it does take that turn, it's just like, okay.
Spoiler alert: your son's an old man and he has cancer.
Yeah. Yeah. Just hard. It was so much more than I was expecting.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, he'll be like 30 something, and he'll be like he'll either be awesome or like terrible.
Oh yeah, he's kind of a dick too.
It's like I didn't side with him at all.
Yeah,
no. Like,
I partnered with the railroad and blew him up.
It was like, that's what. I'm not really connected to it.
I got a synth version.
Yeah.
What do I want?
This is fun.
He's pretty compliant
too. It works.
I can't get him out of the... he's just hanging... Sean is just hanging in the railroad. Underground base.
Like, no, come over here. It's I'm here. I'm chilling out here.
Dad, leave me alone. So 76 is bigger.
Like, this is going to be insane.
You played the beta?
I have not played the beta.
I have.
You did?
Oh yeah.
How was it?
I loved it.
Yeah,
I really did. I mean, look, pretty much anything Fallout I'm going to love.
More or less.
More or less.
Hitting a baseline of you're going to like it, and then going from that.
I found... So the big thing about 76 is there's no human NPCs. It's all robots. And all the missions that you find are either given by robots or you find them in notes or terminals or unfinished business of dead people. And I didn't find any difference. I don't feel like it was lacking because there weren't NPCs.
Yeah, it wasn't missing.
I wouldn't mind NPCs. That would be cool. But
if they suddenly dropped that at some point.
Yeah, at some point I would be fine with it. But I don't feel like I played the game and I wasn't missing anything. And I haven't even played it with people yet, like with friends yet.
Yeah.
A lot of people I've been sort of following have said, oh, it's not as fun without two people. And I totally believe that it's not as fun, but it is fun.
It's fun
with just one person.
Either or, but you also kind of can't wait until you get a mate.
I immediately found the humour. The first trip out, I found in the middle of nowhere a Mad Hatter's tea party.
Okay.
I was scaling a mountain, and then I'm like, what the hell is that? And there's like a table with balloons and cakes and stuff, and then hats, just heaps of different hats.
And it's just like,
I'll take all these hats.
This is awesome.
Because as we know, with games, hats are the currency, right?
Well, it's like, and that's the thing I'm looking forward to in it, is seeing the ridiculous interactions from people.
Yeah. Like, I'm currently walking around the wasteland in preacher robes and a purple witch's hat.
Oh my god, yes.
But that's the other cool thing, and this is something I've wanted from Fallout in a long time, is they have essentially cosmetic armor. So you can have all your cool armor that really gives you good bonuses.
Yeah, you're still focusing on your stats.
Yeah, but then you can put an outfit over the top.
That's genius.
Yeah, it's pretty great. So I had a paramedic's outfit. Friends of mine were playing yesterday and got Civil War uniforms.
Oh my god, yes!
Because there's like a whole Civil War recreation event where it's PvP, but you're recreating the Civil War.
That is amazing.
I haven't been there yet, but I desperately want to.
It's like adding it to the list of like, I have to remember to go over there now.
Yeah, pretty much. That's the thing, is like when I get the Power Armor edition that I bought, it has a map. But the map also has glow-in-the-dark stuff on it as well.
That's right, yes.
So I'm going to be like in my room.
Immediately just like, I
can't read it.
It's like, I need to find this bit.
Yeah, pretty much. So I'm going to try and do that.
That'll be so much.
I'm psyched. The other thing with 76 is it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's really a good-looking game.
That like early, like that first trailer I think they did, where it didn't really show much of anything except the setting. Yeah. And like it's got Country Road Take Me Home. It's like, this is gorgeous.
That's so good. I was like looking over like mountain ranges. Yeah. Just the scenery.
Just like,
I mean, it's 25 years after, so everything's not kind of gone to shit completely.
Like stuff's slightly messed up, but it's not like dead.
Yeah, exactly. So there's still beautiful trees and all kinds of stuff. So,
and like stuff's slightly getting more mutant-y overall. And
there's definitely some creepy mutants.
Yeah, I was gonna say the weird creatures that they've added now is like...
Oh, I love it. There's so much stuff. And then they've also, some people would say shoehorned in, there's probably not much of a better term for it, but they've brought in the Brotherhood of Steel as a faction, and they've also added the Enclave as a faction. Because West Virginia is politically a very important space. So it makes sense that the Enclave would try to be
so it's
there.
like, well, they're going to focus on that area.
Yeah, so basically I think it's through radio communications, there's some sort of bunker.
Yeah.
I imagine it's probably the Greenbrier bunker, which actually exists under a big hotel.
Yeah.
It's meant to be for, originally built for relocation of Congress, I think.
Okay, yeah.
So I feel like that's going to be...
It's like, okay, well, you got to get at that in there.
Yeah. I went to that hotel in the beta, and it's still run by robots.
Oh my God.
Pristine. The golf course is still there, pristine.
Oh my God, that's perfect.
It's so weird. I was like walking through nothing, and then what the hell?
Yeah, it's like, they've just kept it up perfectly because that's their job.
Yeah. So that Brotherhood of Steel, makes sense. They have all the technology. So why not?
It's like they're gonna be fine.
There are raider factions. I don't know how that works without NPCs.
Yeah,
because I've seen footage of someone actually communicating with the head of the Raiders, but it's just a voice, so I don't know how that works.
So I imagine
I'm keen to find out.
Radio communications. But that's the thing, is you're getting hints of little things that you can expect to see without it like spoiling it for you, and you're just excited to explore it.
And lore-wise as well, they added a new faction called the Responders, who were like first responders. So after the bombs fell, they were like, let's get everyone together, and they're all like firemen, paramedics, police, military. I kind of like that idea.
Yeah, I like that.
They're kind of like the Minutemen in 4.
Yeah.
But hopefully not telling me to go check on settlements all the time.
Yeah, it's just constantly. Oh my God.
I can build my own settlement now. And
constantly. And taking that over from 4, where it was like they explored it in 4, updated it in 4, updated it more in 4.
76 feels like they went, all right, what's the best stuff in 3, 4, and New Vegas?
Yeah.
And then they went, yep, let's add that stuff in.
Let's just take those parts.
Because unlike 4, you have weapon condition now, again, which you used to have. You've also got settlement building, but it's kind of a bit more broad.
Yeah.
You can build it wherever you want.
That's incredible.
Yeah. And there's a lot more cool stuff to build. Crazy weird stuff.
It's just gonna be ridiculous. That's more stuff that I'm excited for. Is like I'm gonna have a good experience with it, but I get to see everyone else make this crazy stuff.
You can pack it up and put it somewhere else.
Yeah,
that's brilliant.
Yeah, that's a smart decision by them.
Yeah, fast travel is interesting.
Yeah,
because you can fast travel anywhere on the map to Vault 76 or your camp for free. Then anywhere else, you have to pay caps. Yeah. And depending on how far away you are, depends on how many caps you spend.
Yeah. It's like, okay, that makes a lot of sense. It's like a taxi ride.
Exactly. It makes sense in a like PvP multiplayer environment
where other people are involved. You have to build limitations to things.
Exactly. Yeah. Their griefing system
is
incredible.
Because I was so concerned with that. The second they announced it, I was like, "This is going to be
people are just going to be jerks." As soon as I walked out of the vault in the beta, a guy wearing no clothes punched me in the face. But there was no way he could hurt me because you can't get hurt until you're level 5. And PvP is completely optional now. Yeah. So you can say, nah, I'm good. Yeah. Or you can fight back.
I hadn't heard that of it. I heard that initial one that they did where it was like if you then engage back with them, then it starts.
Yeah. You can, in settings, basically turn it off. Yeah. Which is great because I would love to do more PvP. Yeah. But when I'm ready to do it on my terms.
Yeah. It's like, okay, now I'm ready.
Yeah. I've got my base. I've got my Gauss rifle.
Yeah, it's like I've got everything ready. Now I can really bring Dr. Murder back.
Yeah. Oh, Dr. Murder is coming back in a big way.
It's going to be a big comeback.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, a bit of a break.
This game is going to be amazing.
I'm psyched.
And I hope everyone else is keen for it.
Yes.
I am hoping to get it soon, soon after it's released, because there's too many games coming out.
Yeah.
I've got another 5 episodes of Nostalgia that I have to film at some point. But this will be out just before the game's out, so if you're watching this and the game is out and you're about to go and get it,
Yep.
because you'll be playing it.
Oh, I'll be playing it.
With like every second of free time you can find.
I'm my own boss, so I'll just take it.
You're just like, nah, not today. Not today. Just bring it in here.
Oh man, if I could get away with that, I would. But then I wouldn't have it at home.
Yeah.
And I'm on Xbox, and I can't be bothered lugging anything around.
Bringing everything over.
Yeah.
No.
No.
Oh well, one day.
One day.
One day.
One day, an Xbox is like this big.
Yeah.
Just put it in my pocket.
And it's like, yeah, I can just stream from here as well and everything.
That's the dream.
Yeah. Keep it locked to Infinite Worlds Tattoo's streams in the future.
Yes.
Yeah. Perfect. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
Awesome. I think now we're going to talk about tattoos a little bit. Because that's generally what I want to do.
We won't record that though.
Nah. Well, nah. Bye.